Tom, we're going to start off with a fairly juicy matchup. We got the Cincinnati Bengals, who is Joe Burrow back healthy? Is this offense going to start firing? And then the Seattle Seahawks, who, let's be honest, are just fun for fantasy. Is there anyone that you're particularly targeting this week?
So I think the big question here is, what does it look like for Seattle coming out of the bye? We see time and time again every year that rookies tend to get bigger roles on the other side of the bye. Now, Seattle have had a very early bye with the bye week last week. But do we start seeing slightly more Jaxon Smith-Njigba? Do they change the type of formations they're running? Do we see Zach Charbonnet getting slightly more work? We saw Charbonnet have occasional points where he seemed to be creeping up in workload, but then Kenneth Walker's been playing so well that it hasn't really come to fruition just yet. Jaxon Smith-Njigba, you can see it on the screen there. The average depth of target, 3.3, is horrifically low. We need that to be way up to be really fantasy relevant. So definitely interested in those two on the Seahawks side. On the Bengals side, is Joe Burrow all the way back? His air yards per attempt jumped from 4.5 last week up to over 7, which was much more encouraging. Jamar Chase has proven that he can eat if Joe Burrow is able to just hold the plays slightly longer and be able to navigate the pocket a little bit better and be able to force the ball to him, not just near the line of scrimmage, but just slightly further away as well. Joe Mixon, I think you could definitely start him this week with fairly good confidence. He's at 0 top 10 finishes so far, but he's averaging 19.4 touches per game, which is almost identical to last year. He has 100% of the Bengals carries inside the red zone. He is yet to turn any of them into touchdowns, but variance will fall right for him at some point, and I imagine that one of those is going to turn into a touchdown. So generally, this is probably one of the most interesting matchups of the week. I think you can stack it from a variety of angles. I think you can look at possibly throwing Jaxon Smith-Njigba into those Bengals stacks because the Bengals struggle against slot wide receivers so far, and that is an area where he could, coming out of a bye, have a bigger role. So, I think really there are no wrong answers with this one, apart from just don't play Irv Smith ever.
I think there's 2 points that I'm fascinated by on this week. The first one, they're both on the Seahawks side. Zach Charbonnet, we've seen 13% opportunity share, 23%, 31%, 31%. We've now had the bye. Are we going to see that post-rookie bye leap for Charbonnet, who, Kenneth Walker's been phenomenal, but they've drafted Charbonnet for a reason. He has started eating into that workload, and if this is going to be more of a 50-50 backfield moving forward, that's going to have huge implications for Walker, who's been, a top 8 running back so far this season. If Charbonnet is going to eat into that could cost him production value massively. And then the other one, again, another rookie, as you said, JSN, it's a great matchup for him. The Bengals are not good against slot receivers. The track record of first-round pick wide receivers I tweeted out today that don't produce in their first 5 games is absolutely abysmal. It's literally a list of bust after bust after bust. All the high drafted busts that we've seen over the last few years. John Ross, Cordell Patterson, Nelson Aguilar, it goes on and on. At the moment, JSN and Quentin Johnson are both sat in that list. If JSN doesn't start doing something soon, I'm seriously concerned that it could be curtains for his value from a dynasty perspective moving forward.
Yeah, it's kind of got to start happening soon and very soon, really. If he's unable to, coming off a bye week where the Seahawks have had more time to think about it, if he's unable to make more of an impression then without an injury to DK or Tyler Lockett, I think it's fair to shelve expectations this year.
Yeah, and if people are saying, well, he's got 2 good wide receivers, if he's good enough and if he's talented enough, he'd command targets. And, he's going to need an awful lot of targets if that ADOT of 3.3 continues, because it's certainly not much value in that sort of depth of target.